Hi, Dave. This is Corey. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you're welcome. Of course. So yeah, fill me in. Let me know what's going on, where you're at. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I got an hour. I got an hour for you. You got it. Whatever you need. We're gonna break it down. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's part of the shedding. Yeah. Part of the no shedding. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yes, just kind of running those five things that you said, through my sort of randomization of, what I think you should get. And I kind of came up with some type of poodle mix also. Okay. I'm not necessarily saying doodle, but I'm saying poodle because, well, yeah, I mean, when you're talking about size, okay, size, obviously, sort of. Look, I think every dog is trainable. Okay, I've trained over thousand dogs, and all different types of dogs, right? So, I mean, look, as we speak, I have a little 4-month old rescue puppy in my lap, as we speak right now. That one of my really good clients, they found him on the street. They live in Beverly Hills, and he was on one of the hills, and they found him, and so we're just kind of collabing for right now, and I have him. Okay, so anything from this guy to I'm working with a 6-year-old dachshund right now, or I've got a couple French bulldogs, or I've got a golden retriever right now. I have one of my oldest Great Danes with me right now. So all over the board, I think all dogs are very, very capable. They're very smart, but maybe just some a little more than others. Obviously, we bred certain dogs to, learn faster or to do specific jobs for us. And so when we're saying, I think all dogs are trainable, it's just some or maybe might be more capable than others. All right. So, okay. So look, me personally, I have my own rescue pit. Right? I work with Wags and Walks. That's one of the largest rescues here. I don't know if you know about them, but they're a very large rescue here in LA. So I can definitely connect you with them. And actually, the puppy that I'm with right now, I reached out to them to try to get him in on their site and use them to show him while I'm working with him right now. But I've been partnered with them for about 7 years. I've trained a lot of dogs for them through my program. So how we started our partnership was, I basically will take one dog for them each month. And usually it's a little bit more of the difficult dogs, the ones that are being returned or the ones that maybe have a little bit more behavior problems. Because, that's really, again, I work with all types of dogs. So a lot of the ones with behavior issues, I'm able to sort of rehab, and then we find them a home together. And then I continue with the owners to make sure that they stay in the home. So I actually have one of those dogs myself. A couple years ago, one had came in, and it was a female, and we just started to work with her like our normal. That's a 4-week program that I do for these dogs, because again, they usually need a little bit more. And throughout the program, I'm like, this is a really good dog. And actually prior, I think maybe 4, 5, 6 months prior, I had to put my pit bull down, my boy. He was my first dog. I got him when I was 19 years old, so he was 12 years old at that point. And he was really what led me into this career. Really, I mean, I had a mentor for 7 years, a behaviorist mentor who taught me a lot of things, and so that was my first dog on this journey. So I put him down, and I also had a little 5-pound Chihuahua that I had raised with him. So I was experienced with a 60-pound dog and then a little 5-pound dog, and I raised them for 12 years together, right? So what really happened was this pit that came into my program for Wags and Walks, I started to, we liked her character and her personality. And what ended up happening was she had a foster after our program, but they had 3 cats and it just didn't work out with the cats. The dog just had too much drive. So I said, well, bring her back. I'll keep working with her while we try to find, another foster, another adopter. Well, 8 months goes by, and I don't usually do this, but I liked the dog. And what ended up happening was my little Chihuahua took to her, much like she took to her brother. Now, we could never replace her brother in that 12-year relationship that they had. But this specific dog, the pit, her name was Dia, which was so crazy because my boy's name was Diesel, and we called him D. And then here comes this girl, and her name is Dia, right? So it just... And she was, it was a different experience because she was a mom. She had 1 puppy when the rescue got her. And so, she was a female and she was a mom and she had a puppy. And so what really happened was she was really in control of her body. And that was something that my Chihuahua really needed. She needs because she's only 5 pounds, she needs a dog that will respect her size and will control their body, right? Not pounce all over her, be disrespectful. And so Dia really has that. And so, you know what? I ended up adopting her, and here we are a couple of years later. So it's actually my first rescue dog myself. Obviously, I've trained hundreds and hundreds of rescue dogs and have essentially fostered them, because they come and stay with me. So I'm in that ballpark right now. I have a rescue pit. She's been fantastic. I mean, she's been a lot of work, but she's been a great companion. And I also have another larger shepherd female, and they've hit it off perfectly and have such a great relationship. So I know what that's like, and I think that that's awesome. But I think that, we're going to automatically check off some of your criteria there. It's like we can find the right size one. You can find a medium size one, 40, 45 pound, smaller pit. Okay. But you're going to get the shedding. It's not hypoallergenic. You're going to have shedding. It's going to be small hair. Luckily, and I've seen all different types of pits. I've seen ones that, and I think a lot of time overall health makes a difference in shedding too, okay? Like the quality of food that you feed will also be contingent on how much they shed. So they're still going to shed, okay? That's what it is. It's not a dog like a poodle who has hair. See, there's a difference between fur and hair. Fur grows to a length and falls out, where hair keeps growing and you have to cut it. So a water dog, a poodle, a doodle, right? That's why they're hypoallergenic, because they don't shed, but the hair has to be cut. So that does kind of fall in line with your, getting it groomed with that, you're going to groom it every, couple weeks, once a month, where it's going to get a cut. You'll just keep up with the brushing, right? But look, that's not going to fulfill your pit side. Right? I mean, I have a pit. I know what that's like. But I think again, we can have very strong character dominant type dogs, or we can have a little bit more passive dogs, but at the end of the day, it's still a bully. So I also think, just me having my girl, she takes a good amount of exercise. Not to say that I also think that I'm not only trying to physically tire out a dog. I think most owners just physically try to tire out a dog, which is very, very difficult because, they're amazing creatures. So my goal is to, I like what you said, half hour in the morning, half hour in the evening, hour a day, maybe, weekends or other times, other days you have a little more time to put into it. But it is going to take some physical requirement, but also mental. And for me, mental exhaustion is really just having your dog follow rules. And I think that that's really where a lot of people are missing, is they obviously don't have enough rules for their dogs or requirements for their dogs. And so they think that tiring the dog out will essentially get them a better behaved dog, but it's only going to behave based on what you've taught it and what you're requiring from it. So I think it's a twofold part. Yes, they're physical, they need some exercise, but they also need rules to follow. And then, in my opinion, you're going to have a nice balanced dog because it's being taken care of on the physical side and it's being taken care of on the mental side. So, okay, so I was just going in terms of the size and the shedding, and, yes, we can find one that's going to have, maybe lower energy, okay, maybe quote unquote a little bit of a lazier dog, but at the same time, It might have a lot of energy anyways, just because of the nature of a terrier. You know, Pit Bull is a terrier. She's a big one. So, you know, the nature of a terrier is they have energy. So 100%, I'm going to tell you, I've came across so many kind of bully pit type dogs that are lazy. They're lazy. They don't require a lot, right? They're lazy. But doesn't mean just because it's lazy that, you know, you might not run into some type of regular dog behavior. And so, look, the barking thing too, yeah, you know, that can be worked on. Because, you know, I want my dogs to bark to alert me. I just want it to be controllable. You know, so not nuisance barking, but barking to let me know some... That's right. That's right. So that stuff is, yes, that's trainable. You know, that's trainable. So, okay, so then obviously, yeah, going to be around children, some kids, right? Okay, sure. So, well, let's backtrack to you being 14 years old. What was the dog that you had then when you were a kid? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, okay, so look, I'm going to tell you about a couple dogs that I know of right now that I've already trained. They've been through my programs. So that's also when a lot of the dogs that come through for my Wags and Walks program is a fantastic deal for somebody because the dog stays in my 4-week program. But I mean, the cost is only the adoption fee. You know, so it's also a very limited amount of dogs. But I am just saying that I do have a couple of dogs that I've been working with that haven't found a home. I don't know that they're going to fit your criteria because they're younger. One of them is a Doberman. Okay, one's a Doberman. A lot of energy, though. A lot of energy. Lives on a ranch right now with horse haulers. They haul horses. Wanted it as, I mean, they have 3 other dogs, wanted it as the dog. And the dog, she's doing fantastic doing the horse hauling, but she's fighting with one of the other dogs. It's all females. So don't think, go ahead. Look, okay, because I've had both dogs. I've obviously worked with both dogs. I prefer the opposite sex. Okay, I like male dogs. I do. But I think it has to be the right breed. And then even then, it needs to be the right character of dog, personality. Yes. So, because you can have a very pushy male or you can have a passive male. But personally, for me, and being a male, I'd get a female. I'd get a female, you know. And so, usually there's a little less challenge either way. So it doesn't mean that like maybe she might not challenge your wife a little more. Because female to female. But if I'm picking just because, I think a female is better. It's like they're a lot of time they're not as dominant. Okay, they're not fighting over dominancy. They don't have the same behaviors. You might not be getting a whole bunch of marking, peeing all the time, and that can be just instilled as a habit. Doesn't have anything to do with neutering or fixing them. Because especially with rescue dog, if it's a little older, it could have got neutered at 2 years old. So for 2 years it was marking, and now it's just a habit. So, I personally I like female. Now I do like a male dog. If it's a little tiny dog, I might go with the male dog. If it's a bigger dog, I might go with the female dog. Right? And I also think it's contingent a little bit on the breed, though. So, but for right now, I'm leaning 80% towards a female for you. Just in my experience, okay? So, but it doesn't mean, again, the character might not match. I mean, might match in a male dog, for sure. Okay, so we have a Doberman, and then we have another boy. The Doberman's name's Piper, and I'd say she's full-size. And in terms of Doberman, she's a nice-looking Doberman. So she's got the full build, no cropped ears, floppy ears, cropped tail, but she's got that stocky stance. you know, she's going to be bigger than you want for sure. She's a good sized dog. You know, I'd say she's at least 60 pounds. You know, she's a good sized dog. I think she's a little too much for you, honestly. You know, for what you're saying, she's a fantastic dog. I think I mean, look, she's got a lot of training under her belt. She's great. But for me, I mean, I'm already looking at her owners that she has right now. And I'm like, hey, this is a lot of dog, regardless of you having 3 other dogs. Even if you had no other dogs, it's kind of a lot of dog. All right. So the other dog is also a bit of a lot of dog. Okay. But he's not as dominant as Piper is. His name's Dutch. He's like a brindle. He's like a brindle shepherd looking. I mean, in reality, it was so funny because I had him at the same time I had Piper, and they hit it off perfectly. Because in reality, again, I also think they have similar energies. So Dutch might be a little bit much too, although he's well versed. Because he's been with me. I think I had him for a total of 2.5 months. I trained him. And then he went to another trainer when I took my break, because I usually work 3 or 4 months and then I take a 3-week break off. So I was just gone 3 weeks ago. So he went to another trainer and he stayed there. And then now he's with his foster slash rescue. It's a partner of mine. I've known her for a decade now. So she has him currently. And actually, my sister was going to adopt him. I liked him for my sister. My sister's looking for a dog. She's single. She's got my young nephew. And I said, Dutch is a great dog. And, you know, he's got a lot of training. I do think he needs some stimulation for sure. But he's also a really great dog at settling. He can settle very easily. So if you're just hanging out at home, relaxing, I mean, he can settle very easily. He knows how to do that. And I also think that that's dog's biggest issue is they don't know how to settle on command, which is relax. You gotta teach a dog how to relax. So his ability to relax on command is pretty solid. So I do like that dog, but, you know, he's also a bigger dog. He's probably the same size as Piper, you know, so there goes our size. You know, the shedding, he's got short hair, he's going to shed. It's very similar to pit bull hair. I mean, both of them, Doberman and pit bull have very similar hair, right? So he's going to shed, okay? But extremely smart. When you're talking about trainability, I mean, one, the dog's already trained. I put a lot of time into this dog. So, and I can even show you, you know, just so you can take a look. I mean, he's on my Instagram. He's all over social media. I mean, I think he even has his own page. We've been showing him. I mean, he just had some type of commercial segment filmed on him for the dodo, and they were trying to show him to get some exposure. So those are the dogs that I know for right now, outside of the young puppy that's sitting in my lap right now, which also it looks like a little Doberman puppy. It's not exactly, like not purebred Doberman, but looks like a Doberman, you know, has the markings, has the color. Sweet dog. It's a boy. He's a male. He's a sweet boy. Obviously, they found him on the street. It looked like somebody cared for him, but looked like somebody might have dumped him. He whined a ton first couple of days, and I feel like that might be why someone tried to get rid of him, because he whines a lot. But I bring him into my environment where it's a learning environment, and I have lots of other dogs, and so I'm starting to work with him, and I'm like, well, yeah, he just doesn't know. He doesn't know anything, and plus somebody abandoned him, you know. So he's a good dog, and I know that even, you know, my fiance / head trainer, Cynthia, we work all of our dogs, train our dogs together. You know, she's like really liking him. And he's got a good character, good nature, sweet dog. But, you know, I'm not sure, again, he's going to fit your criteria there. You know, I think he might be a little bit bigger, and he's going to shed. And he's young. He's a puppy. You know, we got to raise him still. So those are the dogs I know of for right now. Right? And the ones that I currently know and the ones I've actually worked with. But I still think that, and I know you have like a pit in mind, you know, but I do think that some type of poodle fits your criteria, which that's drastically different. You know, you're not going to be getting a solidly built, you know, sturdy dog. You're going to get something, you know, a little smaller. I mean, in terms of you and your wife, I know maybe you haven't been talking so much about it, but what does she lean more towards? Okay. 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 Well, why don't you do this? Okay, because look, my biggest partner is Wags and Walks. All right. And so they have so many dogs. All right. So what I would say, I mean, I'm just looking at their Instagram right now, and I'm looking at, I mean, in the first nine pictures, I see three, you know, pit type dogs. You know, a couple being a little smaller. I think one of them is a mama. You know, so she's gonna have some puppies. But you know, well, hop on their website. Hop on their website, or even go to Instagram. Take a look at some of the dogs that they have. I'm going to. I mean, you have Instagram. Do you have Instagram? Okay. Yeah, go to Wags and Walks, and then go to my Instagram. Give me a follow. Let me follow you back there. And then that way you can tag me in the dog or send the dogs to me. Right? And then let me take. Mine is going to be Corcha. And then the word balanced, Balanced. So Corcha Balanced K9. K9. You'll see it's the only one that pops up there. Actually, I think you can even look me up by my name too. It's my name also, but Corey, Corey, and then Chavez. I'm looking here. I mean, they have a lot of dogs. You know, they got a ton of dogs. I mean, I've done so many pit bulls with them. I mean, we've been together for 7 years. I think we've done 40 or 45 dogs together. Again, they come, they do the month with me, and then we place them together. So I've had so many pits come through, and fantastic ones. Like a lot of them that are sort of fitting your criteria: size, trainability, not a ton of energy. The only thing that we're going to be missing there is just the shedding portion. But I will tell you, my dog, though she sheds, it's not nearly as much. She's got more of the shorter. There's like different lengths of hair, right? Even in let's say pits. She's got the shorter bit. Some of them have a tiny little bit longer hair. She's got the shorter hair. She's like silver, you know, gray, you know, blue nose. And again, I also think it comes down to like their overall health. I think that they shed a little bit less when they're overall healthy. At the same time, it's just the breed, because her and my shepherd, you know, they eat the same food on the same diet, but my shepherd just sheds more. It is a shepherd hair, right? So, but I will say that over the course of having Dia, as she got healthier month by month, you know, her coat got better and better. So that is something that where we might see these rescue dogs, we might see them and say, oh, wow, they kind of shed a lot. But as they get healthier, you know, it might tone down just a little bit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Wagmore. Yeah. Okay. So I think the first things first is, well, what I think you should do is, okay, you should then meet the dog and get a feel for its character and personality. And I think that's really what we need to be going off of. I know some of these attributes you're talking about here are physical, but in reality, you're going to be dealing with a character and a personality, right? So, and I think that's where, go ahead. Well, okay, exactly. I know. So just a couple tests, okay, a couple ones that people don't pay attention to because they're not looking for this stuff. So a couple things that I'm going to be looking for is, sure, like, is the dog scared or is he confident right from the beginning? You know, is it sitting in the corner shaking or is it coming up to you? Sure, right? Confidence. But what I'm looking for is it a strong character or a passive character? That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so if it were a puppy, because I guess we can do this with the larger dog too, but really what I'm looking to do, if you're going to go get an 8-week-old puppy, let's say you're going to a breeder, you're going to get an 8-week-old puppy. You're choosing your puppies. I'm going to pick that puppy up. I'm going to hold it in my arms. I'm going to get the back paw, one of the back paws. I'm going to separate the toes. Okay, get the little webby. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure to that web there between their toes, and I want to see what the dog does. Okay, so what we're evaluating is how does the dog respond to pressure. So does it bite your hand? Does it bite your hand and say, hey, don't do that to me, don't put pressure on me? Or does it lick your hand? Does it lick? Does it say, please don't put pressure on me? Or the third option, it doesn't do anything. It just deals with it. It deals with pressure. So what I'm trying to figure out is, how does a dog assert themselves? Are they assertive or are they not assertive? With pressure, right? So not with play, not with the ball, not with the squeaky toy. Yes, we can evaluate drive that way. Drive, does it chase a ball? Does it go after a squeaky toy? Does it like to play tug? Does it start growling and really get into it? Sure, all right? But I want to see, how does it respond to physical pressure? Okay, because that's really how dogs would be engaging with themselves. So if someone wants a more passive dog, I don't want the one that's biting me whenever I'm doing this temperament check. I want the one that licks me or deals with it, right? So that's something I would basically, I'm also not saying, hey, go and start grabbing all the paws of every dog that you meet, right? You got to use a little bit of judgment there to be like, hey, does this one even want me to touch them? Right? If it doesn't want you to touch them, then let's not be reaching for their paws. So, but if it comes up to you and it's offering it to you, just check it out. See what it does. You can even do it on the front paws, right? Just kind of see what it's doing there. See if it lets you just play with its paws a little bit. All right. And that's what you're looking for. And then on the other side, yeah, have a few toys. See if it chases the ball. If it chases the ball, now it has a little more drive. So it wants to go after things that move. So squirrels, other dogs, cats, maybe skateboards, strollers, cyclists, things like that, which can be trained. But look, I wouldn't be, if I'm looking for a little bit more of a relaxed dog, I'm not going to want it with a ton of drive. Right? I'm going to want it with the one that's like, oh, cool, that thing's moving. No problem. I'm not getting excited. Instinct isn't kicking in. And unfortunately, the pit, it's part of they're drivey dogs. Now, it doesn't mean, again, we can't find one that's not. But that was with my own dog, Dia. I actually have quite a few videos. I said, hey, if we want to place her in a home with a cat, we need to be able to control her with the tennis ball. Because she's so drivey with the tennis ball, if I can teach her patience and self-control with that, then I can roll that over to other animals. Now, it won't change the behavior. I'm not going to be able to remove that from her. But I can teach her how to control herself, at least when we're on leash or with me or whatever it is, right? So take the toys, see how it responds, right? If it's going bonkers and going crazy at the ball, now you know it's got some drive. And then, checking of the paws, right? Also, maybe even just seeing, like, does it snatch food out of your hand? Does it take things really, really hard from you? Some of them are going to be more gentle, right? Some of them are going to be, and again, I think this can be taught. You can definitely teach that. But it just shows, is the dog willing to be, calm with you? Or is it going to be pushy? Is it a pushy dog? Or is it more of a passive dog? Okay, so that's what I'm looking at there. All right. Yeah, so I see. Yeah, I know the Wagmore. I also know another rescue I work with is called Love at First Mutt. Love at First Mutt. I've worked with them a ton. All right, she's a great. The owner's name is Marina. She's really really good. They get pit dogs all the time. Also, they also get a lot of little kind of poodle dogs. Okay, and I don't want you to overlook that poodle dog because. And poodle is in my top 5 breeds I want myself. After having the drivey dogs, okay, the trainability, there, perfect, smart dogs, okay. Size, oh yeah, they come in all different sizes. Hypoallergenic, perfect, right? The barking part, well, they're trainable. Okay, moderate energy, yeah, moderate. I mean, I think it fits right into that. So I mean, it's a little bit of a different dog, but I think people forget that a poodle was bred for hunting. It's a hunting dog. So a lot of times people have problems with their poodles, you know, because it has a high drive, because it's a hunting dog, because it's so smart. So Love at First Mutt. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any of the others that I've worked with also. I've worked with the Rescue Train. Okay, that's actually where Dutch and Piper came from. And I've worked with them for many years. Let's see, I've worked with a couple other rescues, but I think these are going to be the ones that I sort of, you know, can go into a little bit more depth with them. I know the people there. I can ask them questions right away. Wags and Walks being the biggest one. All right. That's the one I'm in close with the most, but there are other ones I can definitely have talk to the founders and say, hey, you know, I got this gentleman. This is what he's looking for. You know, you got any dogs that fit the criteria? And then when it comes to the program, look, I think every dog benefits from it, sort of regardless of what we're working on. You know, there's a lot of people where they're like, hey, our dog's 4 or 5 months old. We want a great foundation. That's what I'm looking to do, is lay down a foundation for you. So to me, that means that the dog is fairly well-rounded. It's leash trained. It's got basic obedience at a fairly high level. Okay, basic obedience at a fairly high level with an emphasis on patience and self-control. And again, I think that's the number one thing we have to work on. And so obviously I have all the other dogs I can work with, and a 3-week program is essentially 504 hours that we're spending with the dog. And so once we have that foundation, now it's a little bit easier for me to coach you on what we've taught after we're done, which is sort of where I'm at with, Luca and Karen, and the family there. It's like, okay, he's actually been back for a couple programs. He's on a few 3-week programs. But look, he's a high drive dog. That's a working dog. Yeah. And we're waiting for him to mature out also, right? But the good thing is he's got a great foundation. They just got to they're in the raising portion right now with him. So let me ask you, just to sort of close that gap a little more. The age that you're looking for. I know you said you didn't want a puppy, but like, where are you trying to aim for? A couple years old? All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're out of that young stage, but also not like a full mature dog. Still moldable. Yep. You got it. You got it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Don't worry. Don't worry. Look, you're the person I'm after. Let's talk before you get the dog, not after you got the dog and it bit your 8-year-old nephew, Not then. I'm always bombarded with that. Right? So my sister said, hey, are we charging for the phone call? I said, we're not. I like what he's doing. Right? So you don't know that, but I'm just upfront with you with that. Right? You don't know that. Yeah, but I said, I like what you're doing. So hop on there, find me on Instagram so that you can send me the dogs. Okay? Send me a DM so that, we can connect. Obviously, you have my number here. My sister sees most of the phone, but if you need anything, shoot us a text. And, if you got questions, let me know. We'll go from there. All right? Okay. I think I'm losing you there, but we got it. We'll connect. You let me know whatever you need, and I'll help you as best as I can. Look at this boy. I'm ready to get down.